Okay, thanks everybody for showing up. Like we talked about last week was building your brand and leveraging technology through that Snipply website. And then this week, we're going to talk a little bit more about building your audience. Okay, so when you think of your audience, I'm just curious. I want some feedback before I give you my 2 cents. What is your audience? And obviously, whoever wants to chime in first, just jump right in. But when you think of who you're promoting yourself, who is that? Who is your audience? Who are you trying to promote your business to? Bob, you missed last week. I'll let you start us off. Who's your audience? I'm calling you out. You're back from Arizona.
No, I'm good. Hold on. You hear me?
I got you.
My audience are basically move up buyers.
Okay.
Or sellers, obviously. They're moving from maybe a two bath condo to a single family home. They have families, young families, or planning on having a young family.
Okay, so when you think of promoting yourself, it's really hard to identify those niche things. I mean, you're telling me who you want to do business with, but if you're creating content and if you're promoting your business, how do you identify those specific people? Like, who are you promoting yourself to? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, that's a good question. I like to be maybe neighbor. Well, I know this is even zoning it down a little bit more neighborhood specific with those people.
So by targeting certain areas, you're going to get those kind of people?
Yeah, like Westtown. I live in the Westtown neighborhood of Chicago.
Yeah.
So like in the Westtown neighborhood of Chicago, pretty much kind of within maybe a 8-block area at the most.
And how do you promote yourself to those people? If you're hyper local and you're focusing on Westtown, what are you doing? Do you do like a farming postcard campaign? Do you do newsletters?
I'm doing a postcard campaign right now. I've been doing it for like about 8 months right now.
Okay.
About 500 people, 400 and some people.
Okay. What about you, Sean? Who do you focus on? How do you promote yourself? Who's your audience?
You caught me biting into my sandwich.
Oh, you know what? I have so many tiles up and you were not on it, so I would not normally do that.
Jesse, I was going to say while he eats, I know Bob does a lot of Facebook Live too. I mean, He'll just be walking around town or in the area where he lives, and he's always taking shots and just talking about stuff that he's doing. So that always gives a local feel too.
Okay, and I like that, Bob. I like that for 2 reasons. Right, you're promoting the area that you already want to be in, and where I'm going to be taking this, you're starting to promote your business and stay top of mind with your sphere of influence, right? I find it, and I'm sure most of you would agree, it's much harder to go convert a lead or somebody that doesn't know you. It's so much easier to convert a referral, right? So here, I'm going to share it. I'm not, if anyone wants to share theirs, and I know, Sean, I asked you, so please share yours. How do you target your audience? Who is your audience?
So, Jesse, just for reference, 18 years later, it's a little bit easier to target warm leads instead of cold leads. For my whole career, I've never really gone after cold business. It's always been referral. 97% of what we do is all referral from either a past client or a friend of a past client. So we've never really had to worry about the cold side. So we're continuing to market to our database. I have about 1,700 on my personal Facebook. We don't have nearly that on the business side, but all of our lead generation, everything we do is only to our database. And we've never really gone away from that. We feel like if there's someone who cares enough about us to send us a referral, those are the people we want to be talking to on a regular basis. So every 60 days, we're looking to touch our database.
All right. So are you touching your database primarily through Facebook, or do you have another method in which you reach out to them?
Just literally direct touches to our customers via our CRM.
Okay. And then what about the content? What does the content look like to them? Is it just, hey, 4th of July, Memorial Day? Are you doing the holiday thing? Are you doing birthday follow? Like what kind of content are you putting out to them?
We post a lot. Our website, our Facebook page, everything has Keeping Current Matters linked to it. So every day there's a new post from KCM. So it's relevant. It keeps our website with new content every day. So we score higher for Google. We're just really trying to touch customers with what they want. And so our website just linked in HomeBot for everybody. So now we're sending all of that to all of our past clients as well. And so we're trying to let that just kind of run its course. And then again, it's all just about personal touches to our clients. So every day touching 10 to 15 of those clients, whether it be text message or email, but direct contacts to those people.
Of the content you push out, did you pay for a lot of that content or do you create it yourself?
Keeping Current Matters costs $34.95 a month.
Oh, I'm sorry. When you said, okay,
every day.
I'm sorry. I wasn't.
Steal.
Yeah, that is a good price. Keeping Current Matters. And how much was it?
$34.95. And that includes their videos that come out, and they're all personally branded to you as well. So, I mean, I think that's the old price, actually. I think the new one's like $39.95 or something if you're a new user. But the content is amazing, and they do a great job at it.
Can people just drop your name and get the old price? Throw the big Sean name around and no? Okay.
You can try, but I'm sure Harney's going to say no.
They're going to charge you more?
Yeah.
All right. Well, listen, if we had more time, obviously I would jump into everybody's strategy. And I'd love to, if you want to talk offline, obviously I'd love to take best practices and put it out to everybody, because I look at it as, the market we're in is a huge market. We're not going to step on each other. And most of you are in completely different markets anyway. So I appreciate you, Sean, sharing some of that. Here's my approach to it. Especially for the newer agents on the webinar. I look at as building your audience is the wedding list approach. Okay. There's like ding, ding, ding. I'm already doing that. So what I look at is the wedding list approach is these are people who already know, love, and trust you, right? And they want you to succeed. They're your biggest fans. And so what you want to do is, if you don't have that list already put together, you want to write it down. And so call it whatever. It could be 50 people, could be 300 people. You need to look at who is going to be there to support you. And then you want to also put an asterisk next to those people on who are, I call them like an alpha personality or an influencer type personality. Everybody's got some of those friends, right? They're either in a career position where they're out in front of larger groups, or they're just wired to connect people, right? Like they enjoy that whole like, oh, you need an attorney? My buddy Tom's an attorney. You guys should talk. Like find those people, and you want to make sure that you have methods to follow them and get really in tune to what they're doing. So you have enough to elevate your business to the next level just by tapping into the people you already know. And I will tell you, it's such a much better and freer way to do business. So I would challenge you to not only make that list, but once you identified your influencers, pick up the phone, ask how they're doing, check in on them. When this thing opens back up, go grab a coffee or a lunch or a dinner with them and get really dialed into how their life's going, what they're dealing with, and then inherently they're going to reconnect with what's going on in your life. And once you do that, I think through the natural conversation, because they learn more about what's relevant for you and what your business's focuses are, you're going to get more referrals naturally. But then plug into them through your social media platforms. We talked about that last week, right? The branding, Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, YouTube, whatever your method is, make sure you're friends and connected with on those platforms. And what I would encourage you, what I try to do is I'm not trying to hustle a mortgage every time I post something. I just try to create awareness about things. And if I do put something that's sales related, it's almost passively like an ask of my friends, right? So if you're trying to promote your listings, you want to get more listings, your article or your content or your message should be, do you know anyone, that you're close to that could benefit from this or should know about this when it comes to selling your house, right? So now you've just kind of got the wires going to all the people who know, love, and trust you to who could I connect over to Bob? Who can I get over to Heather? Who, you know what I'm saying? So it takes the icky, I'm trying to, hustle a sale to my friends and family. More or less, you're trying to create almost like a mini sales team, right? Of influencers, or a little mini sales team of enforcers. And you'll see there's some real exponential growth, because you can only make so many phone calls and emails in a day. But if you can get, how many, Sean, you said how many are on your Facebook page? 1,700?
Yeah.
1,700. Can you imagine if you just had 10% of people that stopped for a minute and said, Sean was a good dude. He really helped me out. He's a buddy of mine. I'm going to make one extra phone call, one extra email to a friend I think mentioned something about needing to sell their house. That's 170 people that are getting contacted. You didn't have to lift up the phone. So once again, you got to get your branding in place. You got to get your name out there. You got to get your platform set up with Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, whatever it is, because that's your megaphone. And then you got to re-engage your wedding list, your people who already know, love, and trust you. Get personal, reconnect, dial into what's important in their life, and then they'll do the same for you. And then you passively market to them, not to get their sale. That'll happen already because they're on your wedding list, but you want to engage them to passively or actively promote you to whoever they know that could benefit from your services. Make sense?
Jesse, something I'd like to share too. How many people on the call here have been or are currently part of like a BNI networking group? Does anyone participate?
I've been in one before.
Yeah.
Okay. You guys all know how those work, right? Do any of you do a virtual BNI group?
We have, with COVID going on, yeah, we have.
Okay, and how does that look for you? How do you do that?
What do you mean?
Is it
Zoom?
Zoom meetings?
Zoom
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, Zoom meeting. Yep.
Okay, so you guys
Zoom happy hours. I think we've done like 4 Zoom happy hours.
Oh, okay. Something that I've done in the past and resonated with what Jesse was saying is I had set up a while ago, I haven't done it recently, but a handful of people that I do business with. So in a realtor world, your home inspectors, it could be insurance agents, it could be people that could be your loan officer partners. Having a conversation with them saying, hey, I'm going to follow you socially, and if you post something, I'm going to share and comment on whatever you post. And then in return, my ask would be, if I post something, you comment and share that. And if you get 10 people that are doing that and you're doing it for them and they're doing it for you, your content is going to spread. Because think, if everyone's got a few hundred to 1,000 people that are just on their social sites, you're going to help get people that you care about's information out, and they're in turn going to be able to get your information out.
Yep, that's a good point. And once you have these different sites up, what I would tell you is I'm sure everybody has their core business partners, right? You have your lender, your attorney, your home inspector, your title agent, right? Everybody's got that sphere. I know Zillow, you have to actually be like a client before they can give you a referral or a review. Well, not with Facebook. If you have a business page and you don't have any sort of reviews going on there, I would tell you, start trying to get reviews and start with some of your business partners, right? It doesn't say that you have to actually have sold a home to them. They could say, I worked with Jeff for over 10 years now, and he's great. He's helped a ton of people in the local community. And if you're not sure who to trust, he's an awesome guy. You should, those kind of things. And you do the same for your insurance guy. You do the same for your realtor or your real estate attorney. And so the whole point is reviews. I mean, hell, Yelp made a business out of it, right? These reviews are critical for people who aren't sure, right? They're just kind of testing the water. Yeah, my friend Sarah said to use you, but now they start seeing you've got 5, 10, 20 positive reviews. That just validates what somebody else just said. Okay, so I think that's another big piece of it.
And And I would do that on Google as well. Google, I'm just working on that right now. My Google, that's kind of my thing for the year. Is Google reviews huge.
Okay, and I'm not as familiar with that. So I mean, I obviously Google's the '1 search engine, so that makes a ton of sense for me. So
Yep.
you can have a Google business page as well. Is that
Yep.
Is that
Yep.
okay? Because I know
Yep.
one thing that I do use Google for, and I was going to share this tip if you aren't doing it. It kind of goes back to your influencers, right? Is anybody on this webinar using or getting business from clients from a business and not from individual people? Does anybody have a business relationship that drives clients to you? No? All right. So the one that comes to top of mind really easily is divorce attorneys, right? If there's a divorce, there's inherently half the time, if not more, going to be real estate involved. Typically, they'll have to sell it, downsize, whatever. So, and I'm sure that's just the obvious one. There's probably tons of other, not to get dark, but there's probably, if you knew somebody who ran a funeral home, right? There might be, if there's a death in the family, elderly or what have you, there might be real estate needs at that point. So if you haven't explored the business to business referral source, once again, kind of dig into the people you already know, learn who's doing what. There might be an introduction that could be made to somebody else that handles that. Financial planners, maybe somebody wants to diversify and get into real estate investing. But you don't want to just start ringing doorbells and knocking on doors and saying, hey, I'm the local realtor, give me a shot, because you're going to get a door in your face, right? Start with your sphere, get clear, have an agenda in your head, what kind of connections you're looking for, and that casually bring that up in the conversation. But I bring all that up because, and I'm going to bring it back to the Google, if you have influential people who can help your business, setting up Google alerts around people's names or their businesses that'll send you a message when it happens. And it's a great way to stay in front of those people and say, congratulations on the X, Y, and Z, right? My big thing is if you set up enough content coming to you that you care about, you're not out there searching for what's relevant to post, right? We're all busy. Nobody has time to just sit there and scour websites to find something that's relevant. So one of the apps I wanted to share with you guys today, if you have a pen, you might want to write this down. I like to use an app called Flipboard. It's a red icon with a white, it's not an F, but it kind of looks like an F. Is anybody familiar with this, or is this a new app to you guys?
New for me.
Okay. So what it allows you to do, it's basically like newspaper articles where you can pick topics that you're interested in, and it pulls up these different tiles that are relevant to you, what you want to know about. And so I'll have stuff around finance and real estate, but I also have stuff in here about Chicago, social media marketing, small business information, Bitcoin. I have some technology. So what ends up happening is as I'm interested with stuff, I'll read it. It's very easy for me. It'll come up with a bunch of different ways to share it socially. You'll have Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, Pinterest, all these ways. So it allows you to quickly share content while maybe you're just having a coffee, right? Recipes, you can do all sorts of stuff. So this week, I'm going to focus on sharing content that's not real estate related. Next week, I'm going to do more around real estate and different ways to promote your properties and business and things like that. So that Flipboard app's a great one for just getting and it might be business related, right? But if it's relevant and it's fresh and it's yours versus, something that's in the newspaper. The next thing was, is anybody, and I apologize, I think John, you are, Bob, you might be, anybody on list reports with me? Is anybody connected with us on list reports?
Oh, I am.
You are? Okay. So
Yep.
I'm not going to do a demo on that. I'm probably going to save that for later, but there is a place in there where it says shareables. Have you seen that tab yet? Shareables?
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay. That gives you, and it has it's written by the company, but it's literally 2 clicks, copy, paste, post. Yes, that's 3 clicks.
Yep.
And it's not always real estate, but when it is real estate, it's very soft, but it's usually humorous, lighthearted. So it's another way of getting content out there that helps you stay top of mind to your sphere without being super salesy. Couple other avenues. There's the Chamber of Commerce, and different. I would tell you this: be true to yourself and get into organizations that you're passionate about, whether that's volleyball or kayaking or yoga or whatever, and then inherently you're going to connect with people because you have the same interest. So that's probably 101 basic stuff. But if you're not doing it, I think it's doing two things. One, it's helping your personal health because you're carving out some time for yourself and doing something that you're really interested in. But then it's allowing you to connect with people that are wired the same way as you. So it really is a true organic way to find clients that I think will be easy and naturally a way to do it. Okay, so I know we're running out of time quickly, so I'm going to do a quick screen share. This, to me, is something I probably use it daily, and I want you guys to see it as well here. So I'm going to try to move my screens around, so bear with me. Let's pull this up, and let's do screen share. Of course, it's not going to cooperate because it's technology. I think it's upset with me because I have so many things going on right now. Has anybody heard of the website, was it Screen-O-Matic, a Screencast-O-Matic?
No.
No?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep, I've used it.
You've used it? What'd you think of it, Bob?
Fantastic. It's phenomenal. I use it through my KV Core with my KV Core site. Yep.
How do you
Awesome.
use it, Bob? Tell me how you use it.
I use it sometimes for like a not necessarily a listing appointment, but I use it for buyers or sellers and do basically show. Okay, so for example, I use KV Core system for my CRM and for my lead generation. So I'll go on there with a potential buyer and I'll share the KV Core screen, kind of guide them through how my system works. If I have a new potential lead that's someone interested, so I use it that way. Say, you can set your alerts up here, blah 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 blah. Just how they use the system. It's really cool. Very very cool. I think you can even do. I haven't done it before. Can you circle things with like a pen and all that or whatever?
Yeah, when you click on it, I have it set where I click on it, it does like a little yellow burst.
Really
you
cool.
can set up different things. So here's how I use it, and I apologize. What do you guys see on your side? Because it to me, it's like it's trying to load up, but it's like frozen. Do you guys see my screen?
Yeah, I see videos. Those videos.
Is it all the way open, or is it kind of like halfway open?
Looks about halfway.
Looks halfway open. Okay, I apologize. This is, I think, with streaming and all this stuff, it's just mad at me right now. But the gist of it is, well, first of all, if you haven't wrote it down yet, it's Screencast, and it's like -O-Matic. Okay, and I use it for a couple things. One, I guess if you can see my screen here, you'll see it says this is one of my clients and it's a final CD, final closing disclosure. I do it for speed when I'm dealing with something where I inherently get a lot of questions about. I will go in, and you can do it a couple ways. You can just record your audio and you can do like a voiceover on something, or you can do a picture-in-picture tile and have your face if you're trying to make a personal connection with somebody. You can do that because I feel like obviously video and seeing your face and your real person will help. So I kind of mix it up depending on the situation. But I go through and I try to record things that are confusing to people, and they can go back and watch it and slow it down for themselves versus me explaining it and they tell me they got it and then we hang up and they didn't get it. So or people will just say, I'll spend 45 minutes on the call with somebody and explaining I'm taking notes and I'm explaining the scenarios. Oh, if you want to refi, it's 15% or 15-year fix versus 20. Here's the rates, blah, blah, blah. And I'm just making notes for myself. And at the very end, they'll be like, man, if you could just send me a quick email with everything we just covered, that'd be great. I'm like, oh, because I got half an hour to go and regurgitate everything I just told you about. Like, why aren't you taking notes? But I've found that this is a great solution for that. Because what I'll do, I won't even do the video, or that I won't do the screen. I'll just do like this. I'll just video me talking. I'll pull my notes up and say, hey, Tom, we talked, you wanted to compare between a 15-year and 20-year. I quote you this, that. And then I get the same response almost every time. That was an awesome use of technology. Thanks for sending that back to me. So it's great for that kind of thing. But another application that I think is really powerful. So those articles, let me try to think. I follow Housing Wire. That's a big real estate mortgage website, and it pushes me data once again that I find that's relevant. So I always scan the articles in the morning, and anything that's big news, I'll pull up the article. I mean, this is kind of like black belt stuff. I pull up the article, I will read it, and then I will do the Screenomatic, right? And I will record myself picture, and maybe some of you have seen me do this. I will kind of high level discuss what I thought was important of the article. And then I can combine Sniply and put local lender, Jesse, buyer guarantee rate, that banner at the bottom with Sniply. And then I push that out to Facebook, and I just high level comment in the Facebook post. They open it up, they see it's a video, it's more engaging than just an article. They see my face, I highlight what it's about, they can read for themselves. And oh, by the way, I brand myself as a local lender or local lending expert kind of deal, right? So I'm kind of combining all these different things into one content that's out there, one impactful content. So you could use it for branding. You can use it for efficiency. You can explain complex situations or things you always get the same questions over, and do recordings on it, and you can just push it out. So you're the realtors, I'm not the realtors. Give me something that people ask you the same thing over and over and over about. It's got to be something.
How do I get qualified for a loan?
Okay. So what's that?
I said, and they asked me before they want to talk to a lender. I think they want to hear from me first, and then after that, then they're like, then I can say, hey, I have a lender. Do you want to talk to them? And then they're like, okay, yes.
So do you create like email templates for certain things
I have not yet. I'm working on it. What I've been doing right now is YouTube videos.
So what I try to do, there's a lot of steps into what we do. If you're getting pre-approved, then the file's going in for underwriting, and then we're clearing conditions, and then the closing. A lot of the stuff is the same things, just different people. So I'll create an email template, and at certain transitions or handoffs, I'll record a video and do the same thing I'm telling you. Do that branding and walk through it and embed it, and it has a punch list of things that are happening and introducing the next stage. And then I'll do this video, and what it'll do, not only will it free you up and not suck so much of your time retyping up and explaining, but now your business becomes much more consistent and structured. So for me, I used to get early in my business, I would get well, you never told me not to go buy a new car in the middle of the process, right? Or you never told me to go take out other loans. So, I'm like, man, I'm having Alzheimer's at 30. I'm like, wait a minute, I swear to God, I told them that, but I had no proof. Right? I'm going through emails. Oh, it was a conversation. So now I've done this long enough that I will embed certain things, and I know when they say you never told me, it's like, well, let's just double check, because I have an email I usually send out at the handoff that kind of covers those things. And then boom, they don't read, it was in a video, I reiterated it in the email, it was there. So this,
there's a lot of things. I mean, you could use it for, I'm just thinking, use it for like you go over a contract.
yes,
go over the contract, go over staging, when I was asked about how what should I do to my home or whatever, go over that, go over, there's tons of things, right? I mean, closing costs, what's my net at the end of all this,
Is Metzger on, Jonas? Did Matt join us today?
Yeah, I don't know if he's still on.
Yeah, I'm here.
Yeah, he's there.
Matt, I saw your video on YouTube. What did you use to edit your video?
So I had I guess I'll call it a professional edit that.
Okay.
It was a friend of mine who had like professional video making equipment, had a nice camera, had editing programs and stuff like that. I have used there's an app called, I'm looking for it right now, Splice on iPhone. And I have found that when you're talking like actual like cell phone videos, Splice, and I think Splice is actually owned by GoPro, so it may say by GoPro, but Splice is the project. It is incredibly like user friendly. I've done videos where I just let it run, and then I can edit out the takes that I do for it. So if I fumble my words, if I mess up, whatever the case may be, I've got something there that I can quickly just, I'll do it later. There was another one that I did for my computer. Let me see if it'll let me here. Bring it up. I can't remember what the name of it that I used just recently. But I used another one just recently. It ran through my computer, through my laptop's what do you call it, webcam. Mm-hmm. And the picture wasn't the greatest, but it was still allowed me to record. It allowed me to edit, to do anything that I really wanted to. So that was another one of the options. And I want to say it was only like $60 for the year.
Well, the reason I asked you, that video, it was really good. I liked the transitions. The audio quality was there. Obviously, if you hired a professional, that makes sense. And I'm sure, people have used their different things. I paid for a service through a company called WeVideo. I'm still learning. I'm like bumbling through it. But I will tell you, if you don't currently have an editing platform for your PC content, this Screen-O-Matic has editing feature as well. I'm a little annoyed because I paid for this other one, and I already used this one. I'm like, man, I should have done it all in the same place. So if I can't figure this other one out I paid, so it was a year deal. So if I can't figure this out in a year, then I'll probably just do the whole thing through Screen-O-Matic. But so just for your own knowledge, what I'm promoting for you to use this for is free, but there are paid versions that give you so much more capability, and part of that is video editing. So, but I found this website to be great for creating content and pushing it out and being very efficient with my work and really helping me make a personal connection. So I do plan, like I said, next week is going to be more about your properties and promoting the properties. And then the following week after that, I'm going to really start to dive into how to use mobile apps and mobile technology to promote yourself and your business on the fly. But this one today was more about the audience, was more about using PC-based content, right, to push it out to social media platforms. So it is 12:39, so I'm going to be wrapping this up here soon. Obviously, any last thoughts or questions from the group before we start to wind this down?
Jesse, I'd like to just make a comment really quick. I've been using what you're talking about here, the Screencast-O-Matic for probably 6 months now, and I'm addicted to it. And to all the points that you just said, I would challenge everyone on this call, when you get time between now and next week's call, download it and send Jesse and I something from what you've used. You can put your face in it, you can just record the voice, but test it out. And I'm sure it's something that you'll be able to put into your practices for your business immediately.
Yep, absolutely. And I will tell you, just to kind of touch upon the point that I was talking about earlier about your sphere of business partners, putting positive reviews. For anybody who's wanting to do that with myself or with Jonas, call me or text me after this. Let me know your platform, and I'd be happy to share with what I know of you and how I know you and promote you in your business. Because clearly, I know most, if not all of you on the call. I know Jonas obviously knows some of you better than me, but I'm here to lift you up, help promote your business, and make you help you make you successful. So
send us a screencast showing us how we would do it, and we'll leave the review based on what you send us.
How we do it? What do you mean, like how we promote them?
Yeah, like go here to Facebook or LinkedIn, or however you want us to do us, send us that. Use the system that we're talking about.
Oh, the gauntlet is down. Jonas is
There.
challenging you. Bob's like, no problem. I do this all the time anyways.
Easy.
But I will tell you, listen, I hope you guys find value in this. I hope you come next week. I trying to make this, quick so you're not chewing up a bunch of your day. The homework I would ask, like, you definitely try the Screenomatic, but definitely, I think it's critical to really take your business to that next level. Write out the wedding list, asterisk next to the influencers, and then I challenge you to try to pick up the phone and reach out to some of those folks and really get up to speed with where they're at with their families, their health, their businesses. I mean, people are really missing that connection anyways. So I'm sure that phone call is probably going to be a welcomed phone call. So
Sounds good.
cool. All right. Well, if there isn't anything else, I really appreciate your time. For those of you who got sandwiches, hopefully it got to you on time and, you enjoyed it. And we'll look to do this again next week. So different day, different topic.
Perfect.
Thanks a lot, guys.
All right. Thank you, guys.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Bye.